Hi guys, welcome to my longest video to date. Holy crap. This song was requested by Steven. I hope you're able to learn it, man. I'd never really listened to Kip Moore before, but now I'm starting to like him. So this is Kip Moore's Crazy One More Time. It's in drop D tuning and involves a lot of finger picking. So if you're a beginner, this one's going to take some extra practice. Good luck guys, and if you have any questions at the end of the video, go ahead and leave it in the comment box down below and I'll go ahead and reply to them, try to help you out. So the picking pattern for this part is going to be a little bit tricky. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to call this the E string, even though I know I told you to tune it down to a D note, just to keep it simple. So the picking pattern for this, again, start with your D suspended second chord. Just put your ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string and your index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string. So it's going to go E, G, D, E, G, D for the first chord. Now if you notice, after the first low E string that's open, you're going to let it ring out just for a little bit longer than the rest of the notes. And then you switch to the next chord. Now this one, I don't know if it has a name or not, but you're just going to move your ring finger or your pinky to the 4th fret of the E string. And then keep your index finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and you're going to pick it in a similar pattern. It's going to go E, G, D, E, then you go up to B, G, D, G. And again, you let that first note ring out a little bit longer than the rest of them. From there, you're going to pluck the E string again on the 4th fret and slide up to the 5th fret. And then you're going to pluck an open D string and then move your index finger to the 3rd fret of the B string, and you're going to pluck B, G, D, B, G, before you switch to the last chord, which again is a D suspended second. And then you pluck them in this order. It's going to go E, B, G, D, G, D, E, G. So far it should sound like this. Alright, now the second part of the intro is going to be a little bit different from the first. It's going to sound like this. So we're using the same chord shapes, just with different picking patterns. So the first one you're going to use is going to be the same as before. Open E, 2nd fret D, open G, open E, 2nd fret D, open G. Switch chords, 4th fret E, 2nd fret D, open G, 4th fret E, 2nd fret D, open G, and then 2nd fret G again. So there's no high note on this chord, it's just going to be, and then from here you slide up again to the 5th fret, and then you kind of do the similar picking pattern as before. So 5th fret E, open G, 3rd fret B, open G, open D, 3rd fret B, open G, and then you switch to the last chord, which is again is that D suspended, and then do open E, 3rd fret B, 2nd fret G, open D, and then you go back to the 3rd fret of the B string, 2nd fret G, open D, and then 2nd fret G. I highly recommend you take some time to practice that picking before you move on to the next part, which is going to be the first verse. Now the first verse you play is going to be like a combination of the first and second part of the intro. And what I mean by that is that the first part is played like the first part of the intro. And And the second half of the part you play for the verse is going to be played like the second part of the intro. And you play that twice. Now there's a part he plays in between a couple of the verses and choruses. I'm going to call it the interlude. It's going to sound like this. As you'll notice, it sounds a lot like the intro, but it's played with a couple of higher notes. Starting with that D suspended, you're going to pluck E, B, G, D, B, G. And then you switch chords, 4th fret E, then you're going to pluck 4th fret E, 2nd fret G, open D, open B, 2nd fret G, open D, 2nd fret G. And then pluck the 4th fret and slide up to the 5th, and then it goes E, D, B, G, D, B, G. And then switch to the last chord, D suspended 2nd, right where you started, and then it goes E, B, G, D, G, D, E, G. Just remember to let the first note of each chord ring out a little bit. Next part up is going to be the second type of verse you play. It's going to sound like this. So we're using the same chords as we did before, but the picking pattern is a little bit different. For starters, with that first chord, it's going to be plucked E, B, G, D, B, G, switch chords, 4th fret E, and then do B, G, D, B, G, D, G. And then E again, slide up to the 5th fret, and it's going to go E, D, B, G, D, B, G, switch chords again, open E, and then B, G, D, B, G, D, G. The first part is going to sound like this, and I'm going to play it a little bit slower. See if you can follow along. Move on to the next part when you're ready. So the second part of this verse is going to be played like the first part, at least for the first 3 chords. But on that last one, instead of switching to the D suspended, all you're going to do is move your middle finger to the 2nd fret of the D string, and you're going to pluck an open A, 2nd fret D, open B, open G, 2nd fret D, open B, open G, 2nd fret D. So the second part will sound like this, and I'll play it at half speed. Holy crap, this video is getting long. Next part up is the chorus, and it's going to sound like this. Alright, so the chorus is going to use similar chord shapes, just in a different order. To start, slide up to the 5th fret from basically anywhere on the E string. You could slide up from 0, you can slide up from 2 or 3, however you want. I slide up from 3 to 5 before I start the chord. So that's the first thing you do, is slide to the 5th fret, then put your index finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And what you're going to do after you slide up is you're going to pluck the open D string, 3rd fret B, open G, open D, 3rd fret B, open G. It still follows a similar pattern. Switch to the next chord, and it's going to be that D suspended 2nd, and you're going to pluck open E, open D, 3rd fret B, 2nd fret G, open D, 2nd fret G, open D, and then open A. Next chord after that, you just put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the A string, and keep your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G string, and ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And you're going to pluck A, D, B, G, D, G, D, A. And then you're going to take your index finger off the 2nd fret of the A string and use it to bar the D and G strings on the 2nd fret. And from there you pick A, D, B, G, D, B, G, D. So the first part should sound like this. The second part's fairly similar. Start the same way, slide up to the 5th fret, move to the D suspended, and then do that. I think it's a B minor 7th of some sort, but 2nd fret A string, 2nd fret G string, 3rd fret B string, and then pluck A, D, B, G, bar the 2nd fret of the D and G strings, ring finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, pluck A, D, G, B. So the second part should sound like this. And then you go back to that interlude. So all together. And then move on to the last kind of verse. Okay guys, so the only difference in the last kind of verse is the second half. So the first part is played the same. It's just the ending on the second half of it. So let's pretend we played the first part. The second part, the first 3 chords are the same. It's just when you switch to this last chord. Now, once I've told you to switch to the D suspended, once I've told you to just put your index finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, this time what you're going to do is keep your index finger on the 2nd fret of the D string. You're going to pluck an open A string, and when you pluck the 2nd fret of the D string, you're going to slide up to the 4th fret, and then you're going to put your index finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. And then you're going to pluck B, G, D, G, D, A, in that order. That's the only difference. So ending right here. And that's the last kind of verse you need to learn. It's almost over, I swear. Alright, the next part is the bridge, and it's completely different than everything we've done so far. It sounds like this. start with that variation of the B minor 7th. So index finger 2nd fret A, middle finger 2nd fret G, ring finger 3rd fret B. And you're going to pluck the strings in this order with that chord. A, D, B, G, D, G, D, A. And then you switch to the D suspended 2nd chord. And then pluck the strings E, D, B, G, D, G. And then you're going to move your ring finger from the 3rd fret of the B string to the 4th fret of the E string, and you're going to pluck that, and then open D, move up to the 5th fret of the E string, pluck that, and then open D again, and have your index finger on the 3rd fret of the B string when you do that, so it's a quick. Then you pluck the 3rd fret of the B string, G, D, B, G, D, then switch back to the D suspended chord, and then E, D, B, G, and then the last chord you switch to is similar to the B minor 7th, so 2nd fret A, 2nd fret G. You just don't need to put your finger on the 3rd fret of the B string. So then you pluck A, D, B, G. So the first part should sound like this. The next part, take your finger off the 2nd fret of the A string and make that D suspended shape. I use my pinky in this case on the 3rd fret of the B string, middle finger on the 2nd fret of the G. You're going to pluck an open A and hammer onto the 2nd fret with your index finger. And then you're going to kind of repeat the same picking pattern after that hammer on. Remember that last chord of the last kind of verse I just taught you? Get your middle finger on the 2nd fret of the D string, and you're going to pluck an open A, pluck the 2nd fret of the D string and slide up to the 4th, get your index finger on the 3rd fret of the B string, and after you slide up to the 4th fret, you're going to pluck G, B, G, D, B, G, D, B, G, D, B, G, D, B. Altogether, it should sound like this. Alright guys, you made it this far, why stop now? This is the last part of the song, it's the outro, and it's played fairly similar. If you've been practicing all this, this is going to be really easy. It sounds like this. So as you'll notice, the only difference is that very end with the hammer-ons and pull-offs. So you start with the same 3 chords. So that's the only difference is at the end. With that D suspended, you pluck the E, B, G, D, and then instead of repeating that, you're just going to pull your index finger off the 2nd fret of the G string, pluck an open G and hammer onto the 2nd fret, and then immediately pull off. Might take some practice, but after you do that, you just move your ring finger over to the 4th fret of the D string, and then pluck that and pull off to open. That one's really easy. And then the last thing is just strum the full D suspended 2nd chord minus the high E string, because we haven't used that this entire song. And that's it. Welcome. You're probably the only person here right now. You deserve a prize. I got a Bronco bucket over there. You want that? I got nothing. Anyways, since you're still here, you might as well subscribe or give me a request or something. That'd be cool.